Your party seems very calm. Tell me about your family.
So my mom and my dad are hearing, and I have four siblings. My brother who's hearing, myself, I'm deaf, my third sibling, which is my brother who's hearing, and finally my brother who's hearing. My first brother's name is Nick. The second one is Nike. The third is Charlie, and Kale is the fourth name. My mom's name is Gail, and my dad's name is Teal. Okay, so my parents did not really go and act and become deaf in the deaf community and learn about the deaf identity and the way of life and such. But my parents didn't really went to all the family and no one was deaf. I was alone and we didn't know why. So I went in and I was looking around the age of 2 or 3 and I got sick and I went and I didn't know what was going on and I needed a full interpreter from then on. So this was when I was young and I started to grow up and learn sign language. And my mom, she started picking up sign language. She went a lot to school and tried to understand what was going on. My parents had part communication with my parents, and they were tried to be involved in work and stuff. But I had to be careful. Now going on, they weren't as involved.
They're just not as proficient as they used to be.
Your mom knows sign language? Do any other people in your family sign?
So my parents, okay, so my mom, she's natural. She's a native. She knows ASL, not really like mostly. So 100%, not really, but mostly. And then English is natural, below. She's trying to grasp it and understand it and give it to me and understand ASL. But my dad, he really doesn't understand most. So we would try to work and try to pick it up, but it was really hard. And once we finished with that, my brothers and sisters, most of them finally started to improve a little bit and try to, understand some of the words and understand. I tried to teach them, and my brothers and sisters, at the age of 9, soon my sister started understanding it, and as well as my 10-year-old sibling. So they started to improve sign language. My mom and my dad, they wanted, they would ask, do you want food, and start to do stuff like that. So they knew I needed an interpreter, but for myself, I'm a deaf person, and, they're trying to pick up ASL as they can.
Only deaf person in the family, and I'll need that.
Tell me about where you live. Do you have any pets?
So my home is a farm. My home is a farm right now. So we have tons of different kinds of animals. We have cats and dogs and birds, fish, just tons of different animals, all different sorts.
Farm animals.
So you live on a farm, eh? Tell me about the things you do on your farm.
So I tend to work on the farm for, my family, 40 hours a week-ish, something like that, to get money and practice and tutoring, training, to become a good and proud part of my family. So I wanted to really help and become experienced and grow in the income of my family, to really help out my family.
Money for some of the championships I've earned at the fair.
Grooming and training animals for 4-H requires a lot of work and patience. Have you won any awards at the fair?
I think 11 awards I've won at the fair on, for taking care of pigs who were black, and they were all in the fair, and the animals. I would arrive and I would make sure to take care of their health and make sure that they were doing all right.
And that's how I won the grand championship.
Congratulations on raising a champion hog. What breed of pigs do you raise?
I don't know a lot of different kinds of hogs, big girls and black with spots and such like that. But, that's what I pretty much do, is take care of those.
That are totally black.
Life on a farm can be very interesting. Will you tell me a story about an unusual experience?
Sure, that's fine. Okay, so I'm trying to think of it when it happened. It was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. But there was a cow. It was pretty big. He was comfortable. He was an adult. He was large. He was beautiful, nice in the morning. My father went out, to make sure he had to do everything that for the animal and make sure to do the work and milk the cow and stuff with the machine so we could have milk to drink. Anyways, he went over to that building, to the machine, and he started to do the process of milking the cows and typing everything in. Once everything was finished, the water stopped, and we didn't really understand what was going on, so he tried turning all of the different faucets, and we looked over in the machine. The pipe right there on it was just slowing down and looking so strange. We went in, and then on the inside, way down at the bottom of the well, we were just stunned. The cow had walked over and eaten food and fell into the well. So my mom heard, and because my dad was screaming for help, that the cow had fallen in the well, and everyone was so surprised and running over. My mom was so surprised. We didn't know what happened, how that mistake happened. They were shrieking, and my sisters and brothers were so confused. So we were all just panicked at the time, trying to figure out what to do. But that was just a chaotic story about the cow falling in the well. How do we help him up? How do we get him out of the well? So we had other friends come over and, tons of big props to help get him out. And, it just didn't work. We needed more. We needed other people to help and more machines. So we kept trying to pull him. We were struggling to pull the cow up the well. But we didn't know. He was just still down there, and he left the well once we finally got him out, and we made sure to close the gate. So later in that day, I, had to go to school, but I had informed them that was the reason that I was late, was because I had to help my family get the cow out of the well that he was stuck in for so long.
I was late for school that day, but that was a really pretty funny event.
That story is hilarious. Life on a farm can keep you very busy. Have you and your family been able to go on any special vacations you could describe?
So I think my favorite vacation was when we went to South Dakota. Recently, I think it was 2 years ago, we went to, with my family, and we arrived. We drove over with a campsite, a camper on the back of it pretty much, so it just goes with us. It's a portable camp. And we went around, looking around, trying to be careful of everything, and my parents were ready to go. We packed it all up. We started going up the mountain to the west, to the top of the mountain, and we were like, okay, wow, we're at the very tippy top. The history, we were looking around. It was just beautiful. We wanted to make it was impossible. And then we started to just walk around and we realized it was beautiful, and we met with, 4 other animals up in the trees that we just looked at, and we really just enjoyed the noises and the nature around us. My parents were trying to describe and interpret for me what was going on, and I tried to understand a little bit. Oh, I understood. I could see the birds, opening their mouths and such. But when I arrived, we saw this final, like, cow with horns on it, and we looked at it, and I looked at a picture of it too, and I just thought it was so cool. So we kept walking around, and we looked at other things. We arrived back to our campsite, and we kept traveling around, and we went all the way around the mountain. Once we were done, we started to climb and, mingle and hang out. We were ready to go home. And that was the end of our story.
Pictures from our trip.
What an interesting, fun vacation. Do you have plans for this summer?
So this summer, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to be doing. But I think that I have to work for my co-op. So I'm, not the boss, but I do have to carry a backpack and, lawn mow the area. And so I'm going to be doing that for a little bit. And then if you don't mind, again, doing that for us is what my neighbor asked. So I tried to figure it out, and I would come over again and get on the squab and ride around. We continued. It was better, but, we had to I had to really improve on that this summer so that I can really understand how I'm going to figure out what I want to do and what I'm going to do this summer.
Now I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to earn this summer.
Do you find any time for activities at school?
I think my favorite thing to do is to go and practice football. I really enjoy that. People look at me and they realize that I'm becoming, a regular and that I can figure things out. So it's good to participate and to really get in and to watch others go and make, you know, amazing plays and such like that. So both are wonderful for me to do. I like to play offense and defense, and once I finish with that, later in the afternoon, I like to stop and play basketball, maybe practice other things, but I really want to just relax and enjoy that time. I think it's a really great time to play in basketball and to communicate with others and to go run around and join in.
Pretty good runner, and I like to do relays.
You're involved in so many sports. Wow! What classes do you enjoy at school?
So my classes, I really love my English class. My English language class is really wonderful. The topic, reading and trying to understand what was going on and to figure out the text, I think that's really wonderful.
What do you enjoy most about English and language arts?
So I like English because I can, write and try to figure things out, and I get to think for myself. I get to go read books and, get ready for presentations, practice, become a better presenter, which I really like the competitions of that and such.
We do these for competitions too.
You enjoy reading? What's your favorite book?
I like the book with the title where the wild things are. I like it. I think it's interesting, and they have dogs in it, and they work really hard with people and figuring things out.
That's a great book. Are there other classes you enjoy? What about art?
Not art. I really don't enjoy art.
Well, I used to like.
So I started learning all these different things. Maybe I used to like art, but for now I'm trying to put it aside, and now I'm liking math more and writing and things of that sort. So I can become more ready to go into engineering and ready to graduate. That's what I really want to focus on.
Or engineering or drafting, things like that that'll help me when I'm in college.
So have you decided where you'd like to attend college?
So I do want to go to NRID so I can learn, psychology and to help with mechanics and stuff like that. Work with my hands is what I really, really want to do. So I've already discussed that and figured that out, and I understand, that I may be able to, but I want to continue to try.
Says I'm really good at doing anything that requires me to use my hands.
That's good. I know you study history. Do you prefer studying people or events?
I don't have really much idea about that, the history coming to America and the people here, the deaf people, of, the writers and stuff like that. I just really love the history of America and trying to figure out what happened and part of the people that I am, embodied around.
Out American wars and battles that we've been involved with, but I can't tell you the names of all the famous American figures.
Those are good comments, Mike. I heard that you're involved in public speaking. What's on your agenda now?
So recently, I think it was last week Friday, or oh no, I'm sorry, Wednesday. So I was, you know, researching other things on oral projects, and I finally understood presentations. I saw something in there, and it allowed me to just really figure out what I really want to do. And Norfolk is the book that I was reading, and it was a competition of presentations. So, anyways, that happened, and then now I'm practicing to become part teacher and probably to work with other people that really have limits. So, I want to really help people with limits and to help people who are struggling in any areas and create a list for these people of topics that I can do to help them reach their goals for their life. So that could be writing a dissertation for myself or adding new things in my life. But I just really wanted to work on my presentation as possibly even a preacher. But all people can understand and become better in the future. I really want to just continue to improve in the future and not just stay where I am. I don't have to feel lost, or I don't have to forget what's going on. I can just realize that I can do all of this in the future, and that is my destiny.
What points will you address in your speech?
So I wanted to add on all these topics. For example, that I'm growing up, and sometimes I want to focus on how it's positive and focus on my presentation being just positive. Having an interpreter who will help me and how much they really have helped me in the past. From 1986, the rough life part of my life and stuff. Still today, there's so many positives in my life. It's hard work for sure. It's hard again and again doing all of the same things, but I want to focus really on the positive and ignore the negative. The negatives I'm just tired of. They come up again and again, and I really want to go and work and practice positive. Not for everything to be so negative. I want to become skilled and better and live my life in the future.
To other parts of your life in your future.
Those are great points. Optimism has such an impact on our success. Many people look up to successful people as role models. Do you have any role models?
Okay, so role models. My mom, I think that she has given me so much advice about the role that I will play in the future and how I can better myself. And she's just continued to give me that advice about, becoming a better person and not having to worry. So after building that up, right now I'm feeling like it's normal for me. She's my role model. I'm not bad, I'm not great. I'm just who I am, and she has inspired me to feel that way.
Experiences or bad outcomes.
Yes, moms have a significant impact on our lives. Is there any other person you look up to as a role model?
I think deaf people have really inspired me. Kenny, he's a deaf man. Kenny Walker, he's a football player, and he's really helped me to show that skills with football can happen for a deaf person. I was always watching him, and he was always in the line, and I could see that he was picking up the signals and not letting people by and really playing his position well. He was just a wonderful man, and I could see that once he finished college and he had help from other people, he went and um, he went to Disneyland. So Walker, after football, he came back and he traveled back, and he just didn't have a problem anymore.
Do you see yourself as a future role model?
Yeah, possibly in the future, maybe I could become a role model. And I feel like, all this advice of becoming a religious teacher and helping other people, I really just want to do that. And I really want to put them in their place and help them to understand who they want to be in the future and to take up, not just the same thing and not worry about it, but feel free, feel independent. I really want to help people do that.
And adults and be on their own.
You have some very mature ideas. I think you will be a great role model. I've really enjoyed talking with you today. Good luck in all of your activities.